Okay, so we're AgentEval team number 1. So, like many of the people in this room, we tried agents, and they suck. Everybody on the internet also happens to agree with us, from Reddit to Twitter to random YouTube comments. Everyone who's at least tried an agent once has run into an issue with infinite loops, crashing, and just non-stop issues with tokens, bugs, JavaScript, you name it. So that's why we made AgentEval number 1. Essentially what we did is we took an open source agent called Taxi AI. It's on GitHub. We tried using Multion. Sorry, we had some API issues today, so we went with one that was out there that we worked with. We plugged in all of the traces, all of the actions from that agent into Amplitude and Microsoft Excel, and then we used it for debugging. So, show you a quick demo. So actually, on top of that, what we did is we ran eval on a newly released dataset called Mind2Web. So Mind2Web is this big dataset, came out 2 weeks ago. It's open source with over 2,000 tasks across 137 websites, where they basically give it an instruction and record all the clicks the user made to achieve the result that was asked for by the prompt. So we use those prompts as the benchmark for our open source agent, and we can see just how bad Taxi AI really is. So, onto a demo. Okay, so what we're seeing here is actually the interface for Taxi AI. I know there's no internet in this room, so I just preloaded it. What's going on is Taxi basically had the prompt of create an account with the credentials of my name, Alex Reibman, and it filled it out, and it actually eventually crashes. That's not the important part. The important part is that we took all of the traces and we plugged it into an Amplitude dashboard. And so across like a ton of trials, we saw that it fails like 62% of the time with the exact same prompt. The median task length was 20 seconds, and it got caught in a couple of infinite loops. And on top of that, we were able to, across multiple sessions, track just how the agents survive over time. So this is like an attrition graph. On the far left here is basically all the starting agents in the green. And then following the next step, some of them die off because they get lost or trapped or JavaScript fails, and goes on and on and on. And you can actually see the survival rates of the agents over time. So I just want to say this. This is actually the attrition graph, and the Amplitude was from another project that we did at another hackathon a few weeks ago. So we wanted to expand on that, right? Like, we know eval is a huge issue. So we actually took new metrics and we plugged them into Code Interpreter. We got some new agent traces, and Darius will explain.
Yeah, so this is basically manual versus Taxi AIs using the web, Mind2Web dataset. This is like a small selection of some of the examples, but an interesting thing is, we'll show on the next slide, the percentage failure rate. But actually on the ones that it does succeed on, it actually tends to take less steps than humans, which is kind of cool, but generally kind of in the same ballpark. And then the other point is kind of the percent failure rate. We had a few extra examples, and that ended up being like around 70% failure versus 30. Was the kind of benchmark for that.
Cool. Yep. And that's about it. Just FYI, we use Code Interpreter to make these graphs, and it gets the real numbers, which is why we edited it in Common Sense. Yeah, that's it. Thanks.
One question for AgentEval.
How many times did you run your agent, and what's the sample size?
So for like the thing we worked on the project a few weeks ago, we ran it like 100 times to get that attrition graph. For this one, how did we run it?
25 times.
Okay, around 25 times, and then we had a few different metrics. So one was the number of like steps. We also looked at like success failure. We looked at like whether it got confused or not. This was kind of the one that was interesting.
One last question. Can you get a definitive like tax agent instead of a Y agent? Is that the tax agent?
Yeah, where's the Multion staff? Yeah, we tried plugging it in with the API, and there were some challenges with the internet, so we just had to go with the taxi, which worked locally every single time. So we can talk about how to debug those issues going forward.
we're gonna do the other agent because we